our position is based on the concern that Syria might submerge into the same situation as Lebanon. Syria could, as Libya, that was the slip of the tongue. Yes, Libya. The Syria can become Libya. Or like Iraq. Because, you know, before the authorities in Iraq and Saddam Hussein himself were destroyed, there were no terrorists there. There had been no terrorists. Let's not forget that, because it's actually, people prefer not to speak about that. But who created the conditions and how the conditions were created for terrorism to outburst on that territories? Isn't that clear how, after the invasion to Iraq, the authorities have been destroyed, Saddam was hanged, and then the ISIS came there, the Islamic State. And what happened in Libya? Full disintegration, no state at all. Even the diplomatic service of the US have felt losses, and we know this, about this tragic case in Libya. And we do not want similar scenario to be implemented in Syria. That is the baseline of our position to support President Assad and his government at the moment. And we believe that the position is correct, because it would be difficult to expect anything else from us under the circumstances. Moreover, as I think, many people even agree with that position. And I have mentioned for several times Iraq. I've mentioned Iraq several times. We know the situation there. We know what is happening. The US are supporting Iraq now. They are arming the army. They train the soldiers. And with 2 or 3 swoops, the ISIS captured so many weapons that the Iraq army even doesn't have it. The armored equipment, missiles, etc. I don't think it's the knowledge of the broad community, but now ISIS is armed better than the Iraq army supported by the US. Okay, they withdrawn, but our special services and the information from Iraq shows that thousands of American troops are still in Iraq. And what's the result? Quite sad one, and quite a tragic one. And we would not like the same thing to be repeated in Syria. And we are urging all our partners, including the US, the Europeans, but primarily the US, to take additional efforts, to make additional efforts to fight this absolute evil of fundamentalism and the so-called Islamic State, and some other groups of the same kind, which in their essence are just branches of the notorious terrorist organizations, global terrorist organizations, which actually struck upon the US themselves. We are urging to find the political settlement way, which of course would provide for transformation of the political regime, and we are ready to discuss that with President Assad as well. By the way, just recently, in the UN, an opportunity of cooperation with President Assad was declared in struggling with ISIS and other terrorist groups and formations. And we are ready to work with the President for the sake of providing political transformation. For all the people living in Syria feeling the access to the instruments of power, of course, in order to avoid the military solution of the conflict. It can't be done from outside with the use of force. That's the matter.
Okay, but are you prepared to urge Assad to step down if it would lead to an alternative political solution that would be a bulwark against ISIS going into Damascus?
Well, our moderator is a real American, I say. I'm saying without external interference, and he is saying whether I am ready to urge. Only Syrian people can urge President to step down. That's elementary. Well, I've said that we are ready to be in a dialogue with President Assad in the direction of him meeting and making the political reforms with the representatives of the so-called healthy opposition. I believe that is quite constructive and implementable. Thank you.